Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. Here's a look at today's headlines. Dominica has signed exchange notes with Japan for the provision of disaster reduction equipment. Windward Island Volcano's keeper says winning the Super 50 Cup was a collective effort. And Jamaica Medical Marijuana Company announces first harvest of commercial medical marijuana. Stay tuned for these and other stories right here on CBN4.
Persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
And welcome back. In a bid to build the world's first climate-resilient nation, the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the government of Japan has signed an agreement for the provision of disaster reduction equipment to assist in the preparation of mitigation measures. The Japanese grant aid assistance under the Japanese Economic and Social Development Program is to the tune of US $2 million. Ambassador of Japan to the Commonwealth of Dominica, Mitsuhiko Okada, said that the grant is being provided in order to help enhance Dominica's capacity to respond to climate change.
The government of Japan is committed to supporting developing nations in enhancing their resilience to climate change. Japan, as a proactive contributor to world peace and stability, and as a nation with many small islands, has been active in tackling climate change issues. At COP21 in December 2015, Japan announced Actions for Cool Earth, or ACE 2.0, a new initiative for supporting action in developing countries to address climate change. Under this initiative, Japan will provide 1.3 trillion yen, the equivalent of about 12 billion US dollars, in climate change finance to developing nations in the year 2020, covering renewable energy production, resilient infrastructure, and a variety of other mitigation efforts.
He further noted that Japan fully recognizes the vulnerability of the small island nations in the Caribbean. The ambassador also indicated that for the Commonwealth of Dominica, the government of Japan delivered relief supplies twice in 2 years. First, after Tropical Storm Erika in 2015, and second, after the passage of Hurricane Maria in 2017. He said the grant will be used to purchase equipment such as generators, water pumps, response vehicles, and telecommunication equipments, just to name a few, which will help enhance the command and logistical capabilities of Dominica's National Disaster Management System.
I believe that the procured equipment will also help the government and people of Dominica in recovering from the damages inflicted by Hurricane Maria and enhance their preparedness against future extreme weather events.
Meantime, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Francine Barra, gave special thanks to Ambassador Okada and to the government and the people of Japan.
In the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Maria, Japan was among the first to respond to our appeal for much-needed emergency relief supplies. Ambassador Okada was extremely concerned. He mobilized support and personally flew into Dominica to hand over relief items. Ambassador, we appreciate your support in our time of need and the leadership that you have shown. Additionally, I must highlight here that thanks to Ambassador Okada's efforts and keen interest in Dominica's recovery in the quickest possible time, Japan again joined with the international community in pledging further support for Dominica and other Caribbean islands affected by the hurricanes during the pledging conference held recently in New York. For this, Ambassador, the government and people of Dominica are very grateful.
The Foreign Minister further states that the grant assistance goes way beyond Japan's initial provision of emergency support. She said it will strengthen Dominica's capacity to preposition vital pieces of equipment, thus enabling the country to respond in the quickest time possible in the event of future disasters.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's signature of the exchange of notes between the government of Japan and the government of Dominica for the provision of disaster reduction equipment adds an important dimension to the strong and fruitful relations that exist between our two countries. This grant of 220 million yen, or $2 million worth of disaster reduction equipment, goes beyond Japan's initial provision of emergency support. And that over the years, Japan's official development assistance to Dominica has been significant. It has covered technical cooperation, including JICA training provided to Dominican nationals in Japan in a range of subject areas, as well as assignment of Japanese volunteers under the Japanese Overseas Cooperation Volunteers Program. Assistance has also been provided by the government of Japan through its grassroots human security projects.
And representatives from 8 farming groups across Dominica on Wednesday received farming inputs including apiary supplies, fertilizers and weedicides, fencing and irrigation materials, and small farm tools and equipment to help restart agriculture production in Dominica. These materials were presented to farming groups that CADI and ICA have worked closely with in recent years. The production support inputs have been procured under the CADI and ICA partnership arrangement and ICA's rapid response action, as well as its flagship and humanitarian and flagship projects. During an address at the handing over ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Reginald Thomas, commended both partners for coming on board in a time of need, particularly after the passing of Hurricane Maria.
The Ministry of Agriculture continues to rebuild. We know the destructive nature of the storm, and while we rebuild, all the partners, all the assistance that we can get from respective agencies, we would like to welcome it. We have to welcome it as we try to rebuild. I see you have paid a particular focus on groups, and we also as a ministry want to welcome that approach. We cannot always meet individuals, but as groups we can really make a difference in the rural communities in particular. And if I go back a little to the 80s, when we had many producer organizations, that was when agriculture did very well. So it is really interesting, and I'm happy to be working at this time to see a resurgence of groups. And to us from the ministry, would like to again ask our partner agencies, technical agencies, because they were clear that they are not funding agencies. So our technical agencies would really like you to continue that work and try to build our producer organizations.
The farming groups who received this much-needed assistance are the Ministry of Agriculture, Bell's Farmers Group, Warner Farmers Group, Soul Cooperative, Cochrane Farmers Group, the Beekeepers Cooperative, Agricultural Women Movement, and the Delicis Toloma Group. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture also received, on behalf of the Honorable Johnson Drago, Minister for Agriculture and Fisheries, a check of US $12,000 from CADI. This will assist in helping the ministry to pay for some of the emergency relief supplies that were immediately required following the passing of Hurricane Maria in September of 2017. And meantime, McCarthy Murray, president of the Association of Music Professionals in Dominica, says that the best means of having a healthy economy is one that is diversified. Murray reminded persons that resilience is needed in the music industry as well, since it does contribute to the economy.
Industries have been contributing significantly to the Dominican economy. And within the cultural industries, the music is one of those that has done the best, and we have some figures to prove that. In 2012, we estimated that there were 202 persons involved in the music business, and the total number of persons involved in cultural industries making their living was 1,000 persons, which is 4% of the workforce of 24,021 persons. In terms of the gross value added for performing arts, which includes music as the largest component, in 2011, we had $1,717,588 produced as gross value added for the economy from just music alone.
He went on to say that statistics does not include numbers from revenue generated from the export of music services, since there is no proper framework to measure the export of our music. However, he stated that the Prime Minister is of the view that music is an essential aspect of the economy by allocating some $500,000 towards the development of the industry.
We have done and spent about, through AMP, the Association of Music Professionals, about 100,000 of those dollars already. And the Prime Minister has before him, just before Maria came, a new proposal that would fund an export drive through Europe, utilizing the EPA to gain market access to European markets, where we would be able to sell considerable amount of services from live events as well as through licensing of copyright, etc.
The president of the Association of Music Professionals says the association hopes that within the framework of building a resilient economy, that the Prime Minister continues to engage the association to pursue plans to do better in the industry. And stay tuned, there's more news coming your way right after this break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You will expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs. When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, Smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
And welcome back. Windward Islands keeper Shane Shillingford has stated that the victory in the final over, defending champions Barbados Pride by 3 wickets to claim their 3rd Super Cup title, was a collective effort. The Volcanoes won their last 7 games after they lost their first 3 matches of the Cricket West Indies Super Cup. Shillingford said the win means a lot to all the players given the challenges the team faced due to the passage of the recent hurricane. He said this win is one to remember.
If I remember clearly, we had a meeting, a bowlers meeting, and the coach met with the batsmen individually. And like I say, the one thing we kept in our mind, we know that the more we play together, is the better we get in tournaments. Yes, we were losing, but the spirit was still there. We were just trying to get everybody to be more consistent in terms of, if we're going down together. If we're gonna win, we're gonna win together. That pep talk that we had that evening, I think you know, from there everybody just believed, and we just never looked back. Well, at that point we knew that every other game was pretty much a final for us. So you know, it makes no sense we go in there thinking like, you know, somebody's gonna give us the game. We know we had to go there and take it. And like I said, we really just believe as a team. I remember after beating Hampshire, you know, I spoke to my wife the night and I told her we're not going to lose another game. You could really see it, you know, when we go into practice, the way that the persona of the team, how everybody just gelled together. Yes, we know we was down, but we know what we had to do to get up. And we really just believe.
Meantime, 19-year-old Alec Athanas, who struck the winning runs, said he felt normal batting in the final over of the Super 50 tournament. With 28 runs required from 33 deliveries, the 19-year-old Athanas put on a mature performance to play a major role in a 31-run 8th wicket stand with captain Shane Shillingford to steer the Volcanoes towards the Super 50 Cup title, taking home the Clive Lloyd Trophy.
As I said, I think I still felt normal because most of these stuff that just happened haven't sunk in as yet. So I kind of felt normal. Like I was very lucky, I would say, to get a chance to go up to even join the Windward team, and I was very lucky to get a chance in the finals. So I kind of feel normal actually. It hasn't sunk in.
The Windward Island Volcanoes finished on 236 for 7 with 3 deliveries to spare against the Barbados Pride in the Super 50 final. And Billy Doctrove, former international cricket umpire and president of the Dominica Olympic Committee, stated that just like the Association of Disabled People, those in sports are left behind. Doctrove laments that even today, many Dominicans view sports as a game. He fears that this concept is also among those in authority, hence the reason why he believes that sports have not been made a priority when issues of national interest are being addressed.
Of contradiction, that there is no other activity that can bring a country that level of exposure, international recognition, and pride as when a son of the soil has attained the pinnacle of his or her chosen sport and excels on the international stage. To most of the rest of the world, sports is now considered and accepted as a multi-billion-dollar industry. And until we in Dominica can develop a change of attitude to sports, then we are missing out on an ideal opportunity to promote and market our country internationally, and in many instances to earn much needed foreign exchange.
Dr. further stated that we are all aware of Jamaican-born Usain Bolt, his accomplishments, and what it means for the country of Jamaica and globally too. Likewise, he mentioned his own accomplishments, having served as an international cricket umpire as a Dominican national.
Given his rightful place on the front burner when the planning and rebuilding process and the rebuilding process of Dominica. We must spare no effort and resources in providing our young persons with greater opportunity to fulfill their known potential. Our grounds, which have now become very vulnerable to the effects of climate change and global warming, have to be given special attention. Dominica, as we are all aware, is not blessed with an abundance of flat land to be utilized as playing fields. And so the few that we have in existence must be cherished and protected at all times, and I dare say at all costs.
Dr. went on to emphasize the need for us as Dominicans to take care of the few grounds that we have available. And also in the news, one member of the Delices Toloma group is encouraging young farmers to pick up and plant more Toloma. Alberto Sorrendo, the president of the Delices Toloma group, said that Toloma is good for the human body and more needs to be planted.
I would encourage young people to go into planting Toloma, because Toloma in itself is a very good thing for human beings to use. As most of us in the Toloma group are elderly, it would be very interesting that young people pick up the follow that trend, because even before I was born, I know Toloma was we knew Toloma as a livelihood.
How is
Sorrendo further stated that the Toloma business has become extremely slow since it has played a significant role in the economy in the southeast community of Delices. And the Spices Learning Center, who had scheduled a kite day, was interrupted due to the recent inclement weather conditions, and they kept their promise and delivered on Wednesday to its students a late fun but field day activity. Ms. Norris, the principal of the Spices Learning Center, said the activity was scheduled to have taken place before the 2018 Carnival celebrations.
Its activity was really done by the families. The parents had to get involved, get the children involved, and they came, a few of them came to the school. We had a presentation, video presentation on how to make the kites, and they did them at the school. Those who were unable to come to the school, they stayed home with the children and they made the kites, and this is the end product of it. So there were no...
The principal informed that the kite flying activity lasted for only an hour, with 26 of the students present at the activity. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more after.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
And a team of 4 young people on Montserrat recently began a one-year project in sustainable fishing. The project represents a partnership between the government of Montserrat, Wit Institute and Blue Halo Montserrat, and is managed by the Youth and Sports Development Program. The team is comprised of 2 fishermen, an outreach officer and a data collection officer. Together, they are seeking to propose a new type of fish trap that includes the traditional way but adds biodegradable wires and a 1-inch gap to the method. The 1-inch gap, together with the biodegradable wires, will also allow the fishes to be caught inside the trap but to escape if the trap drifts, thereby preventing ghost fishing. Ghost fishing occurs when the fishes caught in the trap are not retrieved by the fishers. After an extended period of time, they will eventually die. The project began on February 8th and will be implemented over a 12-month period. It is aimed at protecting the island's fisheries resources while encouraging young involvement in the fisheries sector. Timeless Herbal Care Limited, the leading medical marijuana brand in Jamaica, announced it has successfully harvested the first legal commercial cannabis in Jamaica in over a century. The harvest was certified by the Jamaican Cannabis Licensing Authority. This milestone further distinguishes the company as the leading trailblazer in the development and advancement of the medical marijuana industry in Jamaica. The process began when the company helped create Jamaica's legal marijuana framework. Subsequently, the company received the first research and development permit and planted the first legal marijuana in Jamaica in over 102 years. The cannabis was cultivated in the only facility in the Caribbean certified to grow medical marijuana and represents an important step in Timeless Herbal Care's mission to develop scientifically based products that meet the high standards of safety, efficacy, and quality control. Under the leadership of the founder and CEO, Courtney Betty, Timeless Herbal Care has worked with government officials and licensing agencies to build a vertically integrated structure from seed to patient that meets international standards. And that takes us to the end of today's Primetime News package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am your presenter, Alian Christopher, saying thank you for watching.